Good afternoon, and welcome to this important day in the history of the nation's first public university, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I'm Chancellor Kevin Guskowitz, and it is my distinct honor to celebrate the second new name for a building on our campus today. Hortense McClinton, who we are excited to have on stage with us today, was the first African American on the faculty at Carolina. She overcame the obstacles of segregation to become a leader in the field of social work. Her experiences shaped not just her life, but the entire field of social work. She taught generations of social workers and prepared them to practice without racial and cultural bias. A graduate of Howard University, she lived in Philadelphia. She lived in Philadelphia alongside many of her clients, developed an approach to social work that developed their capacity to live secure, productive, and fulfilled lives. She pursued her graduate degree at the University of Pennsylvania's School of Social Work, where she was the only black student at that time. She worked at the Veterans Administration Hospital in Durham, where she was the first African American employed as a member of the professional staff. She worked as a research supervisor and mentored students from UNC's School of Social Work, and in 1966, she accepted an invitation to join the school's faculty. Here on the faculty, she regularly taught courses on casework, human development, family therapy, and institutional racism. She emphasized the importance of understanding each person's history. During her years on the faculty, she also helped to establish the predecessor organization to the Carolina Black Caucus and worked with various units on campus to improve services for students with disabilities. She has been an inspiration to generations of students because of her commitment to service. Hortense is a steadfast champion of fairness and equity. Her academic contributions and her ability to mentor generations of social workers has changed countless lives. Hortense, it is an honor to recognize you here with your family today. You are a legend and an inspiration to our university. As we were considering removing names from buildings, I remember that one of our students of color talked about the pain of living in Aycock Residence Hall. It gives me such joy today to know that future students will live in the McClinton Residence Hall. There are a few people that I need to thank. I first want to thank the UNC History, Race, and a Way Forward Commission for their hard work in helping us to get to this day. I'm also grateful to the UNC Board of Trustees for lifting the moratorium on name removal and for voting to honor these two incredible Tar Heels today. And I also want to take an opportunity to thank the Naming Committee for your research and selection and recommendation to me, which I forwarded on to the Board of Trustees of these two incredible Tar Heels. And thank you to all of the members of our community who also submitted names for consideration. Finally, I want to thank Hortense's family for being here with us today. Thank you. In an interview with the Southern Oral History Program, Hortense was asked why she taught a course in institutional racism. She replied that if you've been taught a certain thing all your life, you have to learn to know something different. Our university has a history and a campus landscape that has often excluded important voices. And today, we're taking one step forward to learn and teach something different. We have many more to go, but as Chancellor, I am grateful to Hortense for the leader and example that she is to all of us. We are on a journey as a campus to be more inclusive and welcoming. We are not done yet, and today is just a start in our effort to diversify our campus landscape. Hortense, thank you for your wisdom, your grace, your passion, and commitment to service. It's our honor to have your name as part of our campus landscape. And it is now my pleasure to turn the podium over to our Chair of the Board of Trustees, David Bullitt. Chair Bullitt.
Thank you, Mr. Chancellor. I had the honor to speak at graduation on Saturday, and Keenan Stadium was about half full, but I find myself way more nervous speaking in front of Miss McClinton. Thank you for the opportunity to bring remarks on behalf of the board. It is indeed an honor to be here. And I'm repeating some of the remarks I made about Mr. Owl, but I have a lot I want to say about Miss McClinton. I'll give the date of July 16th of 2020 when I served as a member of the Board of Trustees, and the board, as the Chancellor remarked, removed the moratorium on changing building names at Carolina. When you're in those meetings, the actions often don't resonate until later. And I'm going off my script a little bit because in the audience is a gentleman who has been off-again, on-again mentor of mine and someone that I called during this time. Senator Howard Lee is in the audience. And it speaks to our Carolina story that Senator Lee has always been available to me as a mentor, and I could call and made a phone call to him about unnaming and naming buildings, and I want to thank him personally for his advice and counsel during that time. When you serve on boards, there are many votes that take place, and some are clearly lasting, and you know it when you take the vote, and some are not so obvious, and the vote's importance doesn't really resonate until sometime thereafter. Perspective is an interesting thing, and but for that vote on that day, we probably would not be here. So I recall a conversation with the Chancellor in October of 2021 about the chance that we might be able to complete this day. He was very excited about the fact that we were hopeful we could get a vote done so that Ms. McClinton could be present here today. I took that charge from the Chancellor. We rounded up the board during the meeting, and that was a very easy vote to approve Ms. McClinton's name on the dorm. Today, she sits with us at 103. She reminded me backstage 104 in August. So that vote to name the dorm after Ms. McClinton is certainly one that will resonate as a lasting legacy vote for me and for the board that I serve. While writing remarks, I thought about connections and how we are all connected in many ways and often have shared experiences. Despite the fact that we may all come from different living situations, careers, and maybe we have different aspirations, this place in Chapel Hill somehow brings us together. Ms. McClinton, for example, lived in Durham, and so did I, so I'm sure we walked some of the same places. You much earlier than me. But needless to say, we have similar roots. More importantly to me are the broader connections that Ms. McClinton brings and represents. I have the pleasure to work in the court system in Cumberland County, and I work with social workers every day who are trained here and at other great universities. And Ms. McClinton, who was a practicing social worker, not just, I mean, it's great, your great academic success, but you had on the ground, boots on the ground experience in the profession that you were able to pass on to students. And while it is an honor to have your name on a building, the campus is buildings, the university is its people. The building name keeps Miss McClinton in our minds as we notice the letters when we walk by. But Ramona Denby Brinson, the Dean of the School of Social Work, is a reminder of the legacy. That was another great vote I had the opportunity to take to approve Miss Ramona to be Dean. Miss McClinton has influenced students, taught, and mentored because she was able to come and work at the university. Her legacy will live through the fact that not only did she serve families, but that she served students and your peers at the university through your work. We are all connected by more than we know, and it's an honor to say congratulations to Miss McClinton and her family on this day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair Bolick, and thank you, Chancellor Guskowitz. Hello to Mrs. McClinton. So good to see you in person after our many months of phone calls and late evening calls. It's great to see you in person. I also want to say hello to Mrs. Bell and members of the family and our distinguished guests. I bring greetings from the School of Social Work, the academic home of Mrs. Hortense McClinton while she was on faculty at UNC. We are very proud of that fact. And we are very proud of the fact that the McClinton Residence Hall will bear the name of a social worker from this day on. We're proud, but we are not surprised that it was a social worker who became a barrier breaker, the first Black faculty member at the nation's first public university. Like all social workers, Mrs. Hortense McClinton demonstrated a commitment throughout her career to creating cultures and environments where everyone is seen, everyone is heard, has meaning, and feels valued. She taught those values to her students. Some of her students are with us today, a testament of their honor and their respect for Mrs. McClinton that they would travel to be here for this special moment. Those students have turned those values that they learned from Mrs. Hortense McClinton, and they've shared those with others. For more than 100 years, the UNC School of Social Work has been teaching our students to engage in culture transformation, to dismantle systems of oppression and advance equity, and to improve lives. We effect change by leading bold and courageous conversations and actions. Mrs. Hortense McClinton added to this proud legacy for 18 years, and we couldn't be more grateful. To show our gratitude and to expand the impact of Mrs. McClinton's legacy, we have created a scholarship fund in her name. The Hortense McClinton Legacy Scholarship will be awarded to social work students who are the first in their families to pursue a graduate education, those with a desire to focus on community building, and those who have established a history of work or public service that has directly benefited those who have been previously marginalized. These students will have the opportunity to graduate with a limited amount or no debt and to carry Mrs. McClinton's pioneering spirit with them out into the world. Congratulations, Mrs. McClinton, and thank you. May every student who lives in McClinton Residence Hall know who you are, what you did for the university, and what you did for all of us. As did Chair Bolick take the opportunity to go off script, I want to go off script for a moment too, to say what this moment means for me personally. I have newfound appreciation for the old slogan of, I stand on the shoulder of giants. Because of Mrs. McClinton, I'm here. Thank you. May all of us who walk by the building remember that a social worker blazed a trail for the rest of us, and she has created a more equitable world.
Thank you, Dean Denby Brinson. Buenos dias, or maybe buenas tardes. I am Virginia Cardenas, the chair of the Alumni Committee on Racial and Ethnic Diversity, also known as ACRID. Members of ACRID celebrate Carolina's diversity through our giving and in our active support of the university. Today, it is such a true delight and honor to have Mrs. Hortense McClinton with us today, along with everybody that is just dazzling in red at Carolina today. Mrs. Hortense McClinton was not only the first Black faculty member at UNC, but she was a leader on campus with organizations that helped improve this institution for those who would help improve this institution and would follow. As we have learned, too often, in her service to Carolina, being first was not always pleasant, and she was reminded that change comes slowly to organizations that perceive it as a threat. In the face of challenge, Mrs. McClinton persevered. As she mentioned a second ago before, she goes, "I didn't take courses in Black history, I was part of Black history." As we all know, there was a time, even here at Carolina, before 1966, that people asked the question of why was it important to have a Black female faculty member. After Mrs. McClinton, it became a matter of why not? Now, thanks to the path she has laid out, it has become a path of course, and always. It is through diversity that the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill that we continue to grow and have a positive impact worldwide. Thank you, Mrs. McClinton, for serving as a role model to students, faculty, and alumni. You remind us that Carolina is a place for each of us, and that we too must continue to persevere to continue to make it a more equitable place for all. Muchas gracias.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexandra Love. I am an undergraduate student as well as one of the student members on the joint RHA and Carolina Housing Residence Hall Renaming Committee. I just want to start by saying thank you so much for the opportunity to speak today, and thank you, Ms. McClinton, for coming out to this dedication. The renaming of Residence Hall 1 to McClinton marks a momentous moment in UNC's history. During my first semester here, I lived in this dorm. At the time, it was called Residence Hall 1, having just been renamed from Aycock that summer. I decided to start a petition to have the dorm renamed after a woman because I believed more than just 3 out of 32 dorms on our campus at the time were named after women. And I wanted to believe that at a campus that prides itself in diversity, inclusion, and equity, that we would have more than just 3. This petition is also what motivated me to join the Residence Hall Renaming Committee, where myself and several other passionate students and staff continued to advocate for this change. It's so incredible now that my former home has been renamed in honor of Ms. McClinton, and that these efforts by the student body have come full circle. Mrs. McClinton is not only a woman of great accomplishment, as many have noted, but equally as important, she is a woman of strong character with a commitment to social justice, understanding, and progression. And after meeting her backstage, I can also say she is incredibly sweet and still very much lively. We choose to name buildings the way we do because those are people our university admires, because of their impact, and because they represent the kind of people we want to become. Names such as Aycock and even Residence Hall 1 did not represent those things, and I was never proud in saying that I lived there. This renaming is one way that we take a step forward in standing up for our Carolina values of diversity, inclusion, and equity. And it is one way we uphold people who all students on our campus can look up to. I, as well as so many other students I know, are excited that we are striving to create a campus community that reflects those values and that highlights the Tar Heels who exemplified them. I sincerely hope that these efforts continue even once we are completed with this dedication event. Mrs. McClinton, thank you so much for your leadership and for your contributions to UNC.
Alexandra, thank you so much for your beautiful words, for your service to Carolina, and for your thoughtful advocacy. That was beautiful. Now, while I wish that we were outside for this event, Mother Nature sort of forced us inside today. I can assure you that as you're looking at these beautiful photos on the screen here, that there will be many more Carolina blue skies like that above the McClinton Residence Hall. And so this is the moment we've been waiting for, and it is now my pleasure to officially dedicate this building. And so now, by the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, I hereby name the McClinton Residence Hall. And it is my distinct pleasure now to invite to the podium Hortense McClinton. She doesn't want the help.
I can't see all of you, but I'm glad you're here. And I'd really like to know, I had some family coming from Oklahoma, and they said they were going to drive all night and get here. And
They're right here. They're right here. Right here.
Okay, all right. Hey. It's wonderful to see them. Some of them I've never seen before. But I thank you so much. I just never expected this, ever. And I appreciate it. I appreciate the committee. I appreciate all the people up here. And I appreciate everybody. And I appreciate seeing you, and I wish I had time to talk to each and every one of you. Before, I have to say, I think I learned a lot as a teacher here. I learned, first of all, you can say no. I was on 11 committees. The first couple of years I was here because I was the only black face on campus. And I got called to be on every committee, every search committee, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot from the students. I changed my mind about many things, and I enjoyed having them come to my office, and I learned just so much. I think one thing I learned was to finally develop a course in interracial justice. racism really is what it was, because I had never done that before, and I didn't want to be known as that kind of teacher. I wanted to be a teacher who taught everything, and therefore I held off a long time teaching racism, even though I wove it in my class. And that was very good. And then I had the opportunity to go over the state of North Carolina teaching courses in racism. I taught at school in Greensboro, I taught at Fayetteville, and I learned a lot from people who were already working as social workers, but coming back to learn more. So I learned a lot, and I thank you all for everything. And I wish my family would all stand up, everybody. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for coming. And I'm glad I had the opportunity to work here. I hope we will continue to do good things in racism, and we will learn a lot. I have to say that I was born and grew up in Boley, Oklahoma, in which many people I have found out do not know that it was an all-black town, and that I was very happy to have had that experience. It's been very helpful to me. My father was born in 1865. His parents were slaves. He attended and finished Wiley College in Texas. My grandmother finished Lemoyne. Any of you ever heard of Lemoyne College? Mm-hmm. And taught school before she said, my grandfather came up on a big horse and just picked her up one day and took her, married her. So I have a lot to tell, but I'll sit down.
That was beautiful. Wonderful.
Way to go, Cubs!
I got them on all sides. Glad to have them. Thank you so much.
Hortense, I just want to say thank you for your beautiful words. I want to thank you for what you started here many, many years ago. I promise that we are committed to this important work to continue moving it forward. And so you're an inspiration to all of us. And this is, as I said earlier today, it's a great day to be a Tar Heel. Thank you. I just want to thank all of you for being here today. I want to thank our speakers for speaking today. And we have one more part of the program. I'm sorry. I'm going to do that in a minute. We have one more part. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Hi, my name is Tyler Harrison, and I'm the president of the Kappa Omicron chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated here at UNC. I'm joined by a few sorors in the audience. If you want to stand or raise your hand now, that would be great. Thank you. I also want to acknowledge Trustee Chair Bolick and Chancellor Guskowitz, and thank you both for allowing us to share in this really special day. So Ms. McClinton has been an inspiration to generations of women, Black students, and to the entire Carolina community. As the first Black faculty member at UNC, a legend in the School of Social Work, and the oldest living member of the Alpha chapter of my sorority, Ms. McClinton has made a lasting positive impact everywhere that has been blessed to welcome her. You've always been generous with your time with younger sorors, and in 2016, you shared your experiences from the early years of Delta and imparted your wisdom during a visit with our chapter, so thank you for that. and we greatly appreciate all that you've shared with us over the years. So, on behalf of the Kappa Omicron chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, I'm honored to present you with these flowers and thank you for all you've contributed to the university.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to thank all of our speakers for your beautiful comments, and we're going to welcome everyone to the luncheon that'll be in the Great Hall, which will begin probably in about right now. We're going to take a few pictures, and we're going to kick off lunch. So again, thank you all for being here.